Good evening, SPA Media Arts 8. Today I will discuss your LAS for quarter 2, week 3 and 4. Let's start with 2.5. Okay, so the title for this LAS is Aperture Practice. So I know that you already have knowledge about the aperture for activity 2.4. So your activity will be you have to write shallow DOF or depth of field or large DOF in each photo that is shown below. So for this example, we have here a shallow depth of field. You can observe that the background of this cactus here is blurred. Then for this picture, another image, the background is not that blurred unlike this first image. So it means that this image has a large depth of field. Next, you have ISO. So for the ISO, it is a control within the camera that will affect the exposure. A high ISO will yield a brighter image, but it could also create a grainier or noisy image. So when you say noisy image is naghan siya og grain sa iyahang sa picture. So for example, setting your camera to ISO 1600 will lighten the image and make it noisier. If you are using ISO 400, the images will be sharper and darker. If you are using an analog SLR, consider matching the ISO on your camera to the ISO of your film. It will help when you are light metering your image. So you have here a guide. So when you have a daylight, then the ISO should be between 100 to 200. For shade or indoors, 200 to 400. For flash indoors, we have 400 between 800. And for darker indoors, you have 800 to 1600 ISO. And for indoors at night, you have 1600 to 3200. And for extra low light, the ISO must be 3200 plus. We have here 4 images, and in this image, they have the same shutter speed and aperture, but they have different ISO. So for the first picture and fourth picture, which has then ISO of 100 to 800, you can observe that 100 ISO is darker than the ISO with 800. So compare the two pictures observed in the image and the amount of ISO. Write your observations and insight. So we have here ISO, which is 100, and for ISO, which is 25,600. Observe these two pictures and write your insights in this box. So ISO practice. Identify whether the photo has a low ISO or high ISO. We have here 5 pictures, and pwede na ko siya i-send sa messenger soft copy so that you can really see or examine the pictures if dili siya klaro sa atong pag-print. Lastly, we have the 2.8. Title of this is the focal length. So focal length is one of the main considerations when buying and selecting a lens. And understanding how focal length works is essential to capturing the photos you want. Otherwise, you'll be choosing lenses with random angles of view that only serve to confuse you with choices. So what is a long, short, and standard focal length? So we have here 3 different images of camera which has also 3 different types of focal length. So the first image, we have the short focal length, and it means that you have a wide angle of view. And for the standard focal length, there's also an angle of view, but it's not that wide with the short focal length. And for long focal length, we have a small picture angle. So when you say focal length nga taas, it means that you are focusing the images closer. So Short focal lengths take on an expansive field of view, and these are lenses below 35 millimeters and can show distortion in certain areas. Standard focal lengths provide a field of view that approximates to the field of view of the human eye, and these lenses range from 35 millimeters to 50 millimeters. Long focal lengths offer a narrow field of view, and these are lenses above 50 millimeters and allowed to capture subjects from a further distance without losing image quality. Among the three, question. Among the three, long focal length, short, and standard, which among them is suitable in wildlife photography? Explain your answer. So for this time, I will discuss you the learning plan for your media arts quarter 2, week 3 and 4. So you all know that this learning plan is very important for you because it serves as a guide in answering your last or in your module. So for January 18, you will have a virtual class. January 19, you will answer your 2.5 aperture. Then for 20, you will answer the last 2.6. And for January 21, I will ask you for an output. So you will be asked to take a photograph applying the techniques of aperture and ISO. So I believe that dili mo tanan na ay DSLR or mga analog SLR camera. Pero kabalo ko nga na may smartphone. So in your smartphone, you have to use your pro mode sa yung phone. Naana siya. And for Friday, January 22, we will have an online quiz. For week 4, that is for January 25 to 29, we will have our virtual class. You will have to answer your 2.7 and 2.8. And your output for the week, you have to create a 3-minute video explaining shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. So you can make use of the videos that I have sent last January 1. So, pwede to siya nyo gamiton as your reference in making the video. So that would be all SPA Media Arts 8. So if you have questions, feel free to ask me through text or messenger. Goodbye.